That day, I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I know I didn't do nothing wrong.
To see that video made me go back to the moment when I was 22. It hurted. It made me upset. But I seen what my son did that I had to do. And he sought right. And he did right.
Hello guys, how are you doing today? I hope you're all doing okay and taking care of yourself. And if you're new here, you're very welcome to the channel. My name is Amy and this is Trending Pulse Worldwide, and I just want to appreciate you for stopping by. And to all my returning viewers and also subscribers, thank you so much for always showing up. I appreciate you. Now, in today's video is all about William McNeil Jr. and the way this situation unfolded. And once again, raising real concerns about how Black people and people of color are treated by police in America. And I'm not here to over-explain or dramatize anything. We are simply taking a look at how even white Americans are acknowledging that this system is clearly harsher and more aggressive towards Black individuals. And some of them, especially in this video, are addressing the double standards. Others are challenging the typical "he should have complied" argument. And we'll also hear those calling out how something as small as a traffic stop for not turning on fog lights almost ended up costing a man his life. Something that would have likely not have gone this way had he been white, So let's take a look at what people are saying in the videos, then I'll be back and we can talk about it.
It is unfathomable to me that William McNeil Jr. had to face this much level of violence and this much level of hatred simply because he did not have his lights on while it was cloudy outside. And then for the police officers to dehumanize him so much when he constitutionally was in his right asking for a supervisor to explain the level of hatred and the level of violence these police officers were already giving him. When do the racists in this country grow up and start humanizing other people? When do the good police officers start coming out and en masse calling out this kind of behavior from fellow police officers? And I'm talking en masse. I'm not talking one or two police officers. Where are the police calling out this ridiculous, racist, hateful behavior that they can dehumanize somebody and take away their constitutional rights simply because you didn't do what I told you to do? That's not how it works here in this country. When do racists grow up? When does this country finally have the conversation and move on from the racism that is so embedded in this country? We could be doing better, but instead we back people like this. I hope that William McNeil Jr. sues and that we can pay his legal fees to help do so, because this is ridiculous.
Have you guys seen the video of the guy that was arrested and they broke his window and they punched him in the face? I've seen both sides, so don't come for me that there's another side, because there is not. He told him he was picking him up for his headlights not being on during the day. You could see clearly. He said that it was raining and he didn't have his seatbelt on. That's what we're pulling over people for. That's what we're breaking windows for. That's what we're punching people for. That's what we're arresting 22-year-old guys for, because they didn't put their headlights on. They didn't have their windshield wipers on. Their seatbelt wasn't on. Are you serious? You guys know why he was arrested. We all know. And then the fact that he resisted, of course he did. They pulled him over for no reason whatsoever. And I'm sorry, I would have asked for a supervisor. I would have been like, absolutely not. And I probably would have gotten away with it. I wouldn't have gotten punched in the face. And I know that, and so do you.
All I'm saying is, without a doubt in my mind, 100% with zero training, me and 5 other men could definitely drag a grown man out of their car without physically harming them or punching them in the face. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Would it be easy? No. Could it be frustrating? Of course. But I'm guaranteeing you that I can do it without punching him in the face. Just saying. And I'm untrained to do it. But I promise you I could.
The comments are full of white people saying, if you would have just complied, this would have never happened. Should have just complied. Should have just complied. Complied with what? Getting pulled over for driving while Black? So this man was pulled over for having his headlights off. It was broad daylight. And the cop was like, oh, it's inclement weather. It was not raining. Nobody had their wipers on. And his car got surrounded by police officers. Not one of them had their headlights on. Not one. The visibility was not being affected by anything. They also said he didn't have his seatbelt on. But in the video that he took of himself in his car like this, you can clearly see it. And then when the cop breaks his window, punches him in the face, and gets him out of the car, he has to unbuckle the man to get him out. So it's very clear that this man wasn't pulled over for any legitimate reason, right? I want you to imagine that you're a black man and you know the history of police and racism and George Floyd and Freddie Gray and Breonna Taylor, and you're getting pulled over and you say, hey, why am I getting pulled over? And they give you some reason, like you don't have your seatbelt on when you clearly do, and you don't have your headlights on in the middle of the day when it's not raining. Are you going to think, oh, let me just comply and get out of the car? Or are you going to say, something's fishy here. Like, they're pulling me over for nothing. Like, literally, I'm not breaking any laws. It's not about, like, I'm right and they're wrong, so I'm not getting out. It's about, I don't feel safe. They're plotting against me to do something to me, because why are they pulling me over when I'm not doing anything wrong other than driving while black? I know y'all, you white people, if you were pulled over and they were like, you don't have your seatbelt on, and you clearly did, and they were like, get out of the fucking car, you don't have your seatbelt on, get out of the fucking car. Y'all are so fucking entitled. You would never say, I'm just going to comply, I'm going to get out of the car. You would be like, no, I have my seatbelt on. You would not just say, oh, I'm going to get out. Like, sure. Secondly, I've never been asked to exit the vehicle at a traffic stop, ever once. Have you? Really think about that. I've been pulled over for using my phone while driving, running a red light, my tail lights being out. I've never once been asked to get out of my car. And it seems like every video like this, the black man is always asked to get out of his fucking car. Why is that?
Now that we've seen how different people are reacting, let's just take a moment to really talk, because what happened to William McNeil Jr. was disturbing to watch. And even if he made it out alive, the truth is it didn't need to go that far. And he was pulled over for something as small as not having his lights on. Something that usually ends in a quick warning or maybe a ticket. But instead, it turned into shattered glasses and physical force, which was really not necessary. And all of that was justified by saying he didn't comply. But we've heard that phrase too many times. And it's not as simple as people make it sound. And for someone with melanin-rich skin, complying doesn't always mean safety. And you can follow every instruction and still be treated with hostility. There's a deep level of mistrust that exists for a reason, because over and over again, these kinds of encounters turn aggressive and very fast. Now, let's be real. If William had been a palm-colored man, we probably wouldn't have been having this conversation right now. And the officer or officers might have given him a quick reminder about his lights, maybe even joked a little bit and sent him on his way. You see, that's the difference. And it's a difference that too many people try to ignore. And while some folks, including palm-colored individuals, have come forward to say this is wrong and that the system clearly treats black people and other people of color more harshly, there are still others out there making excuses, and they're pointing fingers, saying things like, well, maybe there was something questionable in the car, or he should have just done what he was told to do. And that is where the problem is. Instead of questioning why the response was so aggressive, it shows just how normalized this kind of treatment has become. But let's just pause right here. Even if something was in the car, which hasn't been officially confirmed, it still doesn't justify the level of force used during that stop. The situation wasn't dangerous, he wasn't threatening anyone, and yet he was treated as though he was. And this isn't about attacking officers either. It's about asking, why is this the default reaction when it comes to someone who looks like William? Why does it escalate so quickly when the person is brown-skinned, but stays calm when the person is not? And we've seen examples before, like Elijah McClain, who was quiet and apologetic and yet still ended up traumatized. Or someone like Philando Castile, who calmly informed the officer that he was legally carrying something and yet still didn't make it out of that stop. The pattern is real and it's painful, honestly. So you see, when people defend it, when they say, well, he looked suspicious or he must have done something wrong, you see, it's not helping. It's just showing how deeply embedded the bias still is. Well, on this case, William survived, yes, but he went through it. That kind of physical and emotional damage doesn't just disappear. And being dragged out, hit, treated like a criminal over something minor, that is not how public safety should look like. But you see, this conversation is bigger than just one incident. It's about a system that reacts too harshly when someone has darker skin, a system where fear replaces fairness, where people are taught to obey without question, even when they are scared for their lives. Well, at the end of the day, this isn't about just one man. It's about a repeated experience that so many people of color are forced to live through, often in silence. And the trauma, the fear, the constant second guessing, that's what this kind of policing creates. And no one is saying officers don't have hard jobs either. But what people want is the basic right to be treated like human beings, not suspects based on appearances. And you know, these moments keep showing us that the system still isn't balanced. And until that changes, conversations like this one are going to keep happening because people aren't going to stay quiet. So guys, that is what I had to say for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if this video spoke to you in any way, go ahead and like, share and subscribe, and let me know what you think about this conversation in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. Do you think things will ever shift, or is this just the saddest reality people have to keep living with? So, and with that said, thank you so much for sticking around. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed.